Oops. Welcome back to the channel. We're doing a sound test. We're trying our microphones to see if they're working.
And this one's not working at all at the moment.
Andy's isn't working. The professional isn't working.
So let's try this.
So he's stressing because he always wants to be perfect.
I want things to work.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't matter if we've got a crap vlog.
Check, check, check.
That's what our life's all about anyway. Right, we'll see you in a minute.
Hello, and welcome back to the channel.
Oh.
Today, we're going to visit an 800-year-old Scottish baronial fortress in the north of Scotland. We'll take you with us.
It's my favourite castle in Scotland so far.
It's a haunted castle as well, and it has a death mask hanging on one of the walls. So let's go and explore.
Is the man cave of Fyvie Castle. It's where the boys hung out. They played all their games here. You'll see the billiards table. It weighs over 2 tons. The floor had to be reinforced to hold it up. So you'll understand we don't move it around too often for cleaning. Also, the boys did all their drinking here. You'll see the bar here. They did all their smoking here. It wasn't always the billiards room. If you look above the fireplace there, carved into the stone, you will see it says kitchen 1777 to 1891 when it became the kitchen. Each family's added a part to the castle. In 1891 was when the last part was added to the castle and the kitchen was moved further through here. If any of you have been in the tea room, you'll have been in the kitchen. And this became the billiards room. There's quite a collection of art as you go through the castle. I'm going to draw your attention to some of the art in this room here. Here we've got the Scots Greys at the Battle of Waterloo, which was painted by Colonel Seacombe. Across here, we've got the Cavalier by John Petty. Now I used to tell everybody that he was enjoying a glass of Coca-Cola. But there was a young boy in and he said, no, he's not drinking Coca-Cola, he's taking a selfie. He's maybe a wee bit ahead of his time, eh? And then down in the corner you'll see we've got a big painting there. Now that was painted by John Mealy on location. It was painted at Rumbling Bridge in Perthshire. No easy thing to paint something as big as that on location. It was held up for a number of weeks due to heavy snowfall. He got it started again and he finished it just 3 days before his painting hut was washed away by melting snow and ice. So finished just in time. So from here we're going to head up the staircase, the Great Wheel Staircase. It was built for the Seaton family in 1599. It's a great feat of engineering. It's the biggest wheel stair in Scotland. There are 63 stone steps up to the top. Each step of the stair is 10 foot wide. It's a very gradual climb as you go up. And when you're going up, you will see the Seaton coat of arms on the wall as you go up. It's a red shield with 3 crescent moons. And underneath are the initials LD DF, which is Lilias Drummond, Dame of Fyvie. Lilias Drummond was Alexander Seton's first wife. She died young, and she's known as the Green Lady of Fyvie. She's one of our resident ghosts, so keep your eyes peeled for her. You'll see her in every room. She's usually across here. There's a little felt model. Oh, she's on the table there at the fireplace. A green felt model. So keep your eyes open for Lilias as you go around the castle. Right folks, here we are in the dining room. Now the best place to start in the dining room is up in the ceiling. If you look up in the ceiling, you will see the 5 coats of arms of the 5 families that have lived at Fyvie Castle. Up here, you've got the Prestons. Further down, you've got the Meldrums. Above the door here, the same one that you saw coming up the staircase, the Setons. Further down, the blue one, is the Gordons. Come into the centre and you'll see there's a cross and a bear's head. That is Forbes leaf. You'll also see that cross and the bear's head on the dining chairs. Each dining chair has got the Forbes leaf coat of arms. You won't find them in IKEA, I can assure you. Go back up to the ceiling. You will see the centre, you'll see the year 1890. That's when the ceiling went up. Above me, you will see the initials, HIFL, Alexander John Forbes Leaf. Further down, his wife, MLFL, Mary Louise Forbes Leaf. And this is the man himself here. This is Alexander John Forbes Leaf. He's sitting at his desk there and he's pointing towards the plans of the Leaf Tower. That was his contribution to Fyvie Castle. Now he was a local boy. He was born just 5 miles from the castle here at a place called Blackford. He joined the Royal Navy. He was posted to America. And when he was in America, he went to a dance in San Francisco and he met this lady. Her name was Mary Louise January. And as they say, the rest is history. They got married. Now, Forbes Leaf and his father-in-law got into the steel industry. Now, the latter part of the 1800s in America, there was a huge demand for steel because the railroad was taking off. And that's where he made his money. He was a multi-millionaire in his day. He heard Fyvie Castle was for sale. He came back and he bought it for £175,000. That was 1889. Today, that would equate to £25 million. But he had the money, he bought it, but what he bought was very neglected. It was very run down. It needed a lot of work doing to it. So what we've got today, from 1889, the time he bought it, to 1925, the time of his death, the work was ongoing all the time. So what we've got today is very much the Leith collection. It's the Leith legacy. He was a great collector. You'll see all the antiques in the rooms. You'll see all the arms coming up the stairs. You'll see all the works of art. Out with the National Gallery in Edinburgh, Fyvie Castle has got the biggest collection of Henry Raeburn portraits. That's a Scottish artist, Henry Raeburn. On my right here, you'll see the one here. That is Sir William Maxwell and his horse. You'll notice it's a wee bit out of proportion. He's the same size as his horse, even though his horse was a pony. He wanted to be the main study of the painting. And then across here on the left, you've got John Stirling of Kippen Davy with his daughter Jean. John Stirling was Lord Leith's brother-in-law. That's the reason why that portrait is here. Also, pay attention to the woodwork around Mary Louise's portrait. That is very nicely carved. It's cherubs. It came from a Dutch Jesuit church. When we go upstairs, you will see more woodwork from the same place. There's also a photograph here. That is Lord Leith's granddaughter, Lorna Forbes Leith. Now, I'm just drawing your attention to the photo because upstairs you will see the portrait. And I can assure you the photo does not do the portrait justice. You'll know what I mean right away when you see the portrait. And then also through here we've got the butler's pantry. Now, we're standing directly above the builder's room at the moment, which was the kitchen. The servants would have taken the food up the staircase here and it would have been served in here. When the Leith part was added, Leith part was through here, and down below was the kitchen. They had a dumb waiter to take the food up to the butler's pantry and it would have been brought up here and served. You'll see a sink through there that has got 3 taps. There's 1 tap for cold water, 1 for hot water, and 1 for drinking water. The drinking water comes straight from a spring, ideal for topping up the boys' whisky. Also, there's a sink which is made of teak wood. The theory being that when they were washing up the expensive crockery and crystal, it wouldn't get chipped or broken. Don't know if it worked, but that was the theory. Here we are in the morning room. So-called the morning room, these windows face east. Gets the morning sun. Very handy before the days of electricity. You have a nice bright room in the morning. But the best place to start here is up in the ceiling. This ceiling is the oldest ceiling in the castle. It dates back to 1683. It wasn't paid for with money, it was paid for with a bag of oatmeal and 1 groat. Did an excellent job as well, eh? If you look at the panels, you will see there are thistles and roses, symbols of the union between Scotland and England. You'll see the George III Waterford crystal chandelier. There's over 1,100 crystals in that chandelier. When the castle closes at the end of the season, they build a small scaffold around it and it takes 3 weeks to clean it. So if any of you want a job at the end of the year, just give me your name and we'll get you back.
So you didn't get Delboy and
I was away to say, we're going to get Delboy to clean it.
3 weeks to clean it.
3 weeks, yes. So when you come in this room, you see Fyvie's masterpiece here. This is William Gordon. He was the first of the Gordon family that lived at Fyvie Castle. He was doing the grand tour. When he was in Rome, he got his portrait painted by Pompeo Bettoni. You'll see all the Roman influence in the painting. We've got the Colosseum across here. We've got the goddess Roma presenting him with the orb of authority and the laurel wreath of victory. He's dressed as a Scottish soldier in his kilt, but it's more like a Roman soldier would be wearing a toga. It was painted in 1766, 20 years after the Battle of Culloden in 1746, when the wearing of tartan was banned. So he was making a statement here wearing his kilt. You'll also notice the sword in his hand there is the same sword that is in the case underneath here. Also got a nice tapestry in this room here. That tapestry is called the Fish Market. But if you look at the left-hand side, you will see the colour is completely gone from it. It got damaged at one point. They tried to clean it and they used the wrong cleaning materials. Still is a nice thing, but back in the day it had been very vibrant colours. You also notice we've got a collection of photographs in this room. It's the Bobsley family, the last family that lived at Fyvie. I'll draw your attention to the ones in the piano. The colour one in the centre is your present day Laird of Fyvie, George Forbes Leith. Either side of that is his parents, and either side of that is his grandparents. Now the Forbes Leiths lived at Fyvie Castle from 1889 till 1984. So it was just over 40 years ago there was a family still living at Fyvie Castle here. And you'll find as you go around the castle that it's not your typical Scottish castle. It's furnished. It feels quite homely. It feels you can just sit down in the rooms and chill out. So the Forbes Leith have still got the land around the castle, so all they did was handed it over to the National Trust and they built a new house in the grounds. More energy efficient, I'm sure. You've also seen the Forbes Leith family motto above the fireplace, Space Forte Viro. Anybody know the Latin? It's hope strengthens mankind. Quite a good family motto. Also see the tiles at the fireplace are Dutch Delft tiles. Marie Louise was a collector of blue pottery. You'll see above the doors here, the fireplace and the alcove, all part of her collection. So this is the morning room. We're going through here into the back morning room. So here we are in the back morning room. Now, in the back morning room, every portrait that you see in here is done by the Scottish artist Henry Rayburn. Out with the National Gallery in Edinburgh, this is the biggest collection of Henry Rayburn portraits. This one's said to be one of his finest. It's Mrs. Isabella Gregory. She was a distant relative of the Leith family. She was married to the gentleman down here, Dr. James Gregory. He was a leading physician in his day. He was credited with making the Gregory powders. Any of you heard of the Gregory powders? No? If you had any stomach ailments, any gastric troubles, you take a Gregory powder and that would sort you out. So there was a doctor on one of my tours. I heard his wife say to him, "What's a Gregory powder?" And he says, "Well, if you take Gaviscon, that's the man you have to thank for Gaviscon." So if you take Gaviscon, that's the man you thank for it. So also in this room, we've got a collection of bronzes. Now these bronzes were brought back from Italy by the Gordon family as souvenirs. It's said they brought them back as you might bring back a fridge magnet from your holidays to your friends. They brought these back. The one on the table is called The Wrestler. It's a copy of a much bigger statue. The original would have been in marble. And there are two on the fireplace, which is Apollo and Venus. And also a nice French tortoiseshell chest of drawers in this room. Very unusual, it's very ornate. If you look down at the floor, you'll see at the feet it's animals' hooves. Something nobody else has got. So here we are in the library, folks. Now there's over 2,000 books in the library. You'll see the bookcases in here. down at the end there's an open door and there's another library that goes off down there at the end of the room on the right hand side. But when you come into this room, look around about the fireplace. Now the Seton family were great Jacobite sympathisers, and there's reference to the Jacobites round the fireplace. You'll see there's peaches and roses on the fireplace, which is symbols of allegiance to the Stuarts. On the right hand side there's a small miniature which is Prince Charles Edward Stuart, better known as Bonnie Prince Charlie. And then to the left we've got our own Aberdeenshire Jacobite. His name was Charles Leslie. Now he was a Jacobite. He went around Aberdeenshire singing Jacobite ballads. He was better known as Musclemouth Charlie. It's said that he fought in the Battle of Culloden and that he lived to the ripe old age of 103. Quite something back then. And then look above the fireplace. You will see a painting there of the trial of Charles I. Now Charles I, the connection there is that Charles I spent some of his early childhood here at Fyvie Castle under the care of Alexander Seton, who was Chancellor of Scotland and Earl of Dunfermline. Charles I was Alexander Seton's godson. Charles I was also Mary Queen of Scots' grandson. He upset Oliver Cromwell. Charles I believed pretty much that he was answerable to nobody but God, and he pretty much did what he pleased. So he was put on trial for high treason and sentenced to be executed. Now you know what the heads are on top of the bookcases? Yeah, there's one, a death mask. It's what you call phrenological heads. The Victorians believed that if you studied the indentations on people's heads, it would tell you about their character. So you've got a boy and a girl. And the fourth one, a gentleman and a lady. Come back to the third one. The third one is a death mask. That's John Pallet, who was hung for murder. John Pallet was a bit of a character in his day. He was a notorious drunk, and he was arrested and fined by the sheriff for being drunk, and his herd of pigs was confiscated. So in revenge, he waited one dark night for the sheriff and he murdered him. So he was sentenced to be hung. If you look at the side of his neck there, you will see the rope mark in his neck. It's not what I'd be having in my living room at home, but each to their own. And then you've got Lord Leith's desk here. This is Lord Leith's writing desk. You'll see a photo of the man himself. There's an internal phone system for the castle. Very handy when you've got a place as big as this. We've got a nice bookrest here. That bookrest is all Christian influence that is on the bookrest. You'll see you've got a compass showing you the way. You've a tile with the crucifixion of Jesus. You've the disciples in the Garden of Gethsemane. You've the disciple Peter here with the cock crowing at the back here. And because Lord Leith was in the Navy, he had a great love of things maritime. You'll see the two portrait paintings down here. One on the left is the capture of the Royal James, and underneath is a ship's sextant, and then the one on the right is the wreck of the Spanish Armada. You'll also, if you just quiet a minute and listen to the clock that's ticking down at the window there, just listen to it a minute. Very therapeutic, isn't it? You just imagine yourself sitting there listening to that. If you look at the face, you'll see there's 3 dials on it. One dial for the hours, one for the minutes, and one for the seconds. And it does not lose 1 second. This room that we're in is Alexander Seton's bedchamber. Now, his first wife, do you remember the name of his first wife, Alexander Seton's wife, LD?
Lillian.
That's it, you've been listening. Well done. That's her across there. You see the green lady on the top there? Now, she died young. He remarried very quickly. Him and his new wife were in the bedchamber here when they heard a sighing and a scratching outside this window. Now that window, it's 40 foot off the ground. It's quite inaccessible. But when they opened the shutters in the morning, carved into the stone windowsill, you will see the name D. Lilius Drummond. Dame Lilius Drummond. How did it get there? You tell me. What I'll tell you is, she was a good stonemason. She was good at calligraphy in stone. It's said that she goes round Fyvie Castle dressed in a green satin frock. And if you smell a nice sweet smell of roses, Lilius is not far away. Here we are in the drawing room. Now again in the drawing room, ceiling similar to the one down the dining room. You can see the coats of arms and the 5 families who lived at Fyvie Castle. Remember down in the dining room, you saw Alexander and Maria Louise. They had 2 families, a son and a daughter. The son went to fight in the Boer War, contracted dysentery there and died, which meant his sister, was next in line to inherit. That's Lord Leith's daughter, Ethel Forbes Leith. Remember Thomas the Rhymer's curse, the eldest would never inherit. So that's one instance there. So she was next in line to inherit. She was married to the gentleman in top there, whose name was Charles Burn. Now it was a condition of Lord Leith's will that on his death, Charles Burn would take the Forbes Leith name to carry the family name going forward, which he did. So Ethel and Charles had three families, with Arthur, the eldest, who was killed in the First World War, which meant his brother Ian was next in line to inherit. So that's Ian, and underneath is his wife, Lady Ruth. Now their eldest son, John, he was killed doing national service in Malaya, which meant his brother Andrew was next in line to inherit. Now Andrew Forbes Leith was the last of the family to live at Fyvie Castle. 1984, he sold on to the National Trust. Come back to this one here. Now you've seen this before. Where have you seen that one?
Photo down the stairs.
That's right. Would you agree with me?
That's
The
way
photo
down.
does not do the portrait justice. Up until 2020, all that the Trust had was that photograph that you see downstairs. Her family were in possession of the portrait, but 2020 they sold the portrait back to the National Trust. It's been fully restored. You'll see the frame's been re-gilded. I've got to say it's my favourite portrait in the castle. He's just captured her perfect there, her dresses flowing in the wind. It was painted in 1916 by Philippe de Lazio. And under the light, that's also Lorna, it's a youngster there. I've got two photographs on the table here. Now that is King Alfonso of Spain and his wife, Princess Victoria Eugenie, who was Queen Victoria's granddaughter. Now they spent 3 days of their honeymoon here at Fyvie Castle. When they were here, she came in the door there and she looked through into this room here and she saw the servants dancing and she joined in. Alfonso came in a few minutes later and he saw his wife dancing with the servants and he said, "I will not have my wife to dance with servants." And she said, "I'll dance with who I want." So he was so annoyed, he stormed off downstairs and they were scheduled as a couple to plant a tree in the grounds to commemorate their visit to Fyvie Castle. He was so annoyed he went and he planted it himself. I believe it was a happy marriage, it was just a bad day that day. But if you're having a walk around the grounds, you'll maybe see a tree, and underneath there is a plaque which says, "Planted by King Alfonso of Spain, 1906. So, when the Forbes Leiths bought the castle here, this was a solid wall, this was the end of the roof. But he decided that he'd no space big enough for entertaining. So as you do, he built on a part. So what we've got through here is the gallery. This is the last part of this. This room is described as very opulent. You'll see we've got nice woodwork in here. We've got tapestries fitted into the panels in the wall. The tapestries are Roman scenes. They show the life of a Roman centurion, Decimus Mus. It shows his life. Across here, we've got his life. Across in the other corner, we have got his death. Come round the room, more Roman scenes, until you get to this one here. This is a biblical scene. That's Samson from the Bible. Samson slew an ass and used the jawbone of the ass to slay the Philistine army. If If you look above the door, you will see Samson with the jawbone of the ass slaying the Philistine army. Remember downstairs Mary Louise's portrait, the cherubs round about the woodwork. This woodwork here came from the same church. It all came from a Dutch Jesuit church. You see the pipes for the organ there? They look quite impressive, don't they? But they are purely for effect, the pipes. The pipes that work with the organ are actually hidden behind there. The organ, you play this organ manually, but if you couldn't play the organ, all you do is you would come here. It's like it's like a CD or a record. Select what you want to hear. It's a scroll. You take it out. You put it in the case and the organ there. Problem solved. Self-playing organ. Also got a nice different glass lamp across here. That was a present to Mary Louise for friends in America. The shade is the dogwood flower, which is the emblem of the zoo where she came from. Today, fast forward up to 2026, this area that we're in is very much in demand for a wedding venue. You folks have come at the right week, because next week we've got a wedding and probably we can get to see this area because it'll be all decked up for the wedding. But you get married in here, then you go to the grounds to get photos taken, and there's a building out here. That's the rackets court in the castle. When the wedding venues started taking off, they used that for the wedding receptions. So you have your wedding reception out there. So it's a nice setting for a wedding in here. Before COVID, they maybe have 2 weddings a week here from April through to September. So
Nice day for a wedding.
COVID sort of put the brakes on that, but it started again, so we're good to go. That's where we've just come from. That is your gallery. See the 2 windows up there? And you'll see carved into the stone on the top his initials, and his wife's initials, and the year. But underneath is the good part, because it says, "Gang east, gang west, but home is best." He'd been in America, he came back, no place like home. And then look, there's there's a figure up there, you'll see more up there. All round about, you'll see there are figures around the roof. And any of you interested in King Alfonso's tree, that's King Alfonso's tree just right in front of me there. See the plaque at the bottom of it? It says planted by King Alfonso, 1906.
See the room with the weeping stone in it? Is that the one up there?
That's it here, yes.
So this is the bit that's crashed down below it?
Yeah, aye.
Okay.
Told you.
You'll have to get your drill.
I told you.
No, I told you. I told you because of that thing there. Very domestic.
It's